The fourth struggle is against a tragedy, the tragedy of unemployment. Unemployment in Kenya, especially among the youth and all Kenyans of all ages, has been rising every year. The problem has grown. I will end it. I won't surrender or quit. I have fought great fights against unemployment. I did not quit, and I shall not quit, nor surrender in the war against joblessness in Kenya. As your president, I shall work very hard to ensure unemployment is under control and eventually vanquished. I shall not bow in defeat to the forces of unemployment. My regime shall prevail in the fight against this formidable enemy. I shall not defer the war against unemployment in Kenya to the sixth president. Because if I do so, the sixth president will defer it to the seventh, and the seventh to the eighth, and the eighth to the ninth. It will be a cyclic event. I'm coming to end that. I shall end unemployment. In the days of my presidency, unemployment shall come to an end. The fifth struggle is against a great catastrophe, the degradation of our environment and extinction of wildlife, rivers, streams, swamps, springs, and streams, and all wetlands. I have earmarked these natural assets as creators of jobs and as super employers. They shall create over 50 million jobs from now and up to 2050 for our grandchildren. We have to nurture our environment for purposes of creating jobs to our grandchildren. The way I've planned is, if we protect the environment in the vision I'm giving, that our environment shall create 50 million jobs from 2030, 2040, 2050. At least there shall be 50 million. We have to plan for our grandchildren, fellow Kenyans. Let our children not inherit poverty. Let them not inherit joblessness. I'm here as your president to help you and to help Kenya so that the children that God has given us will be born, will grow in a Kenya that has so many job opportunities. Not a Kenya that has no jobs. Not a Kenya where our children are going to Dandora dump site to look for food there. Fellow Kenyans, this is the Kenya I'm coming to put up. Our environment, our wildlife can be creators of mammoth job opportunities. I've targeted 50 million jobs to be created in the environmental sector by 2050. There should be 50 million jobs in that sector. Fellow Kenyans, I shall thus not surrender nor accept defeat in my efforts to preserve and conserve our environment and wildlife. They are jewels in my development vision. I shall not defer the war against environmental degradation and extinction of our lions, elephants, giraffes, and all wildlife to the sixth president. That war I won't defer to him or her. I will fight a good fight to preserve our environment and our wildlife, because that is where jobs of the future lie. If we had, for example, we are receiving about 1 million tourists. Kenya today should be having 5 to 10 million. That's what I shall do. The moment I get the presidency, you elect me to the presidency, within no time, there shall be 10 million tourists coming to Kenya. Calculate how many hotels, rooms are needed, how many vehicles, drivers to travel to make these tourists go. This is the kind of thinking that I'm bringing and I have. And fellow Kenyans, my target is to have, by the 10th year, we are having more than 20 million tourists coming to Kenya. And you can imagine how many jobs those ones are. Fellow Kenyans, for in the days of my presidency, I shall restore our environment, wildlife, and all water sources towards their 1850 conditions. Of course, we may not achieve the 1850 conditions in everything, but at least we shall have begun the way, and in some situations like springs and wetlands that have so much potential for wildlife, like Lake Olbosol in Nyandarua County, that is drying up, which has a hippos, which has over 2,000 birds. It's drying. You go to the lakes in Taita Taveta, they are drying. Conserving them does not take magic. We will be able to conserve them within a twinkling of an eye, and tourists shall be flocking there. So we shall restore some to the 1850. Like that lake in Nyandarua, it's on my radar. The lake in Taita Taveta, it is on my radar. That will get back to 1850 within 2-3 years. Because the conservation efforts won't be so much. And that it shall attract more tourists and tourists and tourists. The others, of course, are dependent on birth rates. The elephants, the lions, and all that. But we shall make sure that that program is there. As a matter of fact, the first thing to do is to put a stop to the killings of lions, elephants, giraffes, and all that. We shall put a full stop to that. Never again shall they be killed. And their restocking will begin in a big way. In the days of my presidency, I shall stop further decline of our environment and wildlife. I shall begin reversing this decline and start increasing our wildlife population. That is what the government of Professor Joseph Mburu is coming to do. Let us unite. Support me. Get me to that position for your own betterment and for the blessings of the country. Kenya is ours, and it belongs to future generations. Let us watch over it for the sake of our grandchildren and generations unborn.